My name is Nadia. I am from Tunisia. I am studying economics and I'm in my third year at Harvard. And I live in the Dudley Co-op. Wow, so many to choose from. I think my most memorable Harvard experiences have been my travel experiences in East Asia, actually. The first summer that I spent in Beijing, studying intensive Chinese, very intensive. And came out of that alive and then decided to go back again. My sophomore year I went to Shanghai, and then last year I went to Japan, which was wonderful. So this exposure to East Asian culture has been immensely rewarding. Otherwise, being involved with the Harvard African Students Association, the Society of Arab Students, doing some theater as well, and then deciding maybe I'm not very suitable for theater, so starting to learn the piano this year, which is something that I'm very, very happy about. And yeah, those are some of the things that I'm involved with. I became a funk scholar, and that enabled me to travel to Hong Kong and Singapore last year and the year before to attend a student conference on leadership in East Asia and the future, and what can we as students who are studying about East Asian culture, what can we do, how we can kind of also take those lessons back to our home countries. So in my case it would be North Africa and Africa in general. So this scholarship is awarded to students who have an interest in China, whether it's doing volunteer work, or doing an internship, or studying abroad. And in my case, I was doing an internship. And I was awarded this scholarship through Harvard, and it enabled me to fund my summer in Shanghai. But later on, I kept in touch with the Funk Scholars community, and we met in Hong Kong in 2014, and in Singapore in 2015. And we would engage in these conferences where we had leaders from, we had CEOs of successful companies in tech, or we had scholars in various academic fields come and talk to us about how we can be involved as agents for social change. And then we also have local chapters with this Funk Scholars community that operate around the world. And so we kind of try to keep in touch and share our passion about East Asia.
Oh, great.
Sure. Harvard has a lot of resources to help you get through your freshman year, but also have an overall healthy and happy experience at Harvard. I think for me it was my tutors. I connected a lot with my tutors, both in Cabot House and in the Dudley Co-op where I live right now, and I would reach out to them whenever I had questions about what I'd like to do with my career or what the opportunities are for graduate study. I would go to them when I felt a little bit stressed out about exams, or when I had any sort of worries. They were always there to kind of offer advice and support. But also friends, you know. Sometimes we tend to think that we're the only ones who are struggling with something, but it turns out everybody else is also kind of feeling the same way. And so reaching out to friends is always very helpful. I think the biggest discovery that I made here is the realization that you don't have to be perfect to be at Harvard. I think most people, when they hear that you're going to Harvard, you know, they say, oh, that's such wonderful opportunities, you're going to do so well, you're going to do so many things, and you kind of, perhaps a little bit, at first lose sight of your humanity, a little bit of the fact that you are prone to also struggling a little bit, or not always doing everything perfect, failing sometimes, whether it's academic performance or also anything else. And so kind of coming to the realization that Harvard doesn't really expect me to be perfect. I think that Harvard just wants me to be myself. So yeah, so trusting your instinct and not trying to be perfect, and enjoying the Harvard experience with the ups and downs. And I think one other thing that was such an amazing part of my Harvard experience that I did not expect at all was moving to the Dudley Co-op and kind of feeling at home with this small family where people come from all walks of life and have such different and diverse interests and opinions, but they all come together and bring so much energy in this little space that we share. This is definitely one of my most memorable experiences at Harvard. I would say make yourself comfortable here. Find what makes this place feel like home to you. I know, especially for freshmen coming from abroad, homesickness might be a challenge at first. And so I think it's really important to kind of make this place feel like home. And so whether it's finding study spaces that motivate you, where you feel comfortable, or finding activities that interest you, or perhaps exploring interests that you hadn't considered before, and kind of putting yourself outside of your comfort zone, but at the same time staying aware of the places and the resources that you can turn to when you need to. But also surround yourself by people who make you happy, and make sure that you enjoy it. You know, you take it day by day, because sometimes we feel the tendency to kind of plan ahead and think ahead, but there's so much to enjoy here every day. So try to keep that in mind. There are so many people to choose from, but I'd like to make a special shout out to my roommate Gita, who's one of the most talented, passionate, and kind people I know. Also, Carlos Aljete, who graduated last year, is one of my best friends. Anna, the entire community of HASA and SAS, Society of Arab Students, and Alma, who lives with me in Dudley House, who's crazy about films, and she's so passionate, and she's so empathetic and generous, and everyone at the Dudley Co-op, and my tutors, and just so many people. I couldn't imagine narrowing it down to a list, just because there's so much that I have gained from my interactions with people here, whether it's conversations in the dining hall, or studying together, working on school projects, or just sharing, heart-to-heart feelings and things like that. Yeah. Alright, so I know a lot of people are a bit apprehensive about taking time off, and they don't even know that it's an option. My personal experience is that taking time off was one of the best decisions I've made for myself at Harvard. I just needed to take a step back and think about what mattered most to me, and where I wanted my Harvard experience to go, and I found that kind of going out for a little bit, going home, spending some time with my family, working there as a teacher, and then traveling to Japan, living with host families, working for a little bit, meeting new people, sharing conversations, and kind of allowing myself to have some time to think about what I wanted to take out of this place, and where I wanted to go, and what would make me happiest here, was definitely an investment worth making. And I encourage anybody who's considering taking time off to reach out to me and talk to me, also to talk to the resources at Harvard, which are available to give you advice and kind of walk you through your thought process, and talk about what you might gain, or why it might not be a good choice for you, or why it is. So yeah, I encourage you to reach out.